I catch my reflection in the hotel mirror, smoothing the emerald silk dress against my hips. The woman staring back at me looks confident, successful, nothing like the girl I was 10 years ago. With one final adjustment to my pearl earrings, I step into the hallway, ready to return to the reception where Nathan and Leo wait. Then I hear them. "Absolutely worthless, reject," a voice says with a familiar cutting laugh. "Some people never change." My body freezes mid-step. The champagne I'd enjoyed earlier curdles in my stomach as time compresses around me. That voice. After a decade, I'd know it anywhere. My mother, Linda. And the responding laugh belongs to my sister, Emily. I press myself against the wall, suddenly struggling to breathe. They're here, at the same wedding. My carefully constructed new life is colliding with the past I've spent years escaping, and they don't even know I'm 20 feet away. My heartbeat thunders in my ears as their voices fade down the corridor. When I finally force myself to move, my legs feel disconnected from my body. I navigate back to the reception hall on autopilot, my hand instinctively reaching for Nathan's steady arm the moment I return to his side. "Brooke, you look like you've seen a ghost," he whispers, concern deepening the lines around his eyes. A ghost. If only it were that simple. I was 17 when I finally understood what my family truly thought of me. We sat around our dining room table, the same way we did every Sunday night. My sister Emily had just been accepted to her dream college with a partial scholarship. "We're so proud of you," Mom said, beaming at Emily across our pot roast dinner, first in the family to attend an elite university. "Not like some people at this table," Dad added, barely glancing in my direction. "Why waste money on someone who'll never amount to anything?" 2 days later, I placed my perfect test scores on the kitchen counter. Mom barely looked at the paper before waving her hand dismissively. "A fluke doesn't change who you really are," she said, turning back to her magazine. I scan the crowded reception room now, my eyes darting from table to table until I spot them. Mom in her purple dress, Emily radiant in white. White. My stomach drops as understanding hits. This is Emily's wedding. "Nathan," I whisper urgently, clutching my husband's hand. "We need to move to a different table. Now." I guide Nathan and Leo through the crowd, away from my family's table, my heart pounding with each step. Leo skips alongside us, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. "Who were those women you were looking at?" Nathan asks quietly as we find seats at the opposite side of the room. I straighten my shoulders, feeling the weight of a decade's worth of pain trying to crush me back into that insecure teenager. But I'm not that girl anymore. No one who matters anymore, I answer, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. The trembling in my hands stops as my fingers brush against the business card tucked inside my clutch. Brooke Carter, CEO, Midwest Health Solutions. The physical reminder of everything I've built without them. I'm halfway through dessert when I feel the weight of eyes on me. Looking up, I see Emily across the room, her perfectly made-up face frozen in shock. She leans close to our mother, whispering urgently, one manicured finger pointing accusingly in my direction. Mom's face contorts with surprise before quickly rearranging into a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. She stands, smoothing her dress, and begins making her way toward our table. Emily follows closely behind, her wedding gown swishing around her ankles. The world narrows to this moment. My past and present colliding in a luxury Chicago hotel ballroom. Everything I've carefully built, my company, my reputation, the peaceful life with Nathan and Leo, suddenly feels fragile, threatened by the toxic past I escaped. I feel Nathan's questioning gaze, but I can't look away from the approaching figures. My hand tightens around his as I make a deliberate choice to stand my ground. I've spent 10 years running from these people. I won't take another step back. They're almost at our table now. I take a deep breath and rise to my feet. This time, I'm ready for them. I catch Emily's frantic movements before I fully process what's happening. She's rushing across the ballroom, her white gown billowing behind her as she approaches a woman with a clipboard and an earpiece. The wedding coordinator. Emily gestures wildly in my direction, her face contorted with what appears to be distress. "Security," Nathan murmurs, nodding toward 2 men in dark suits moving purposefully through the crowd. Toward us. My stomach drops as the professional composure I've cultivated over years of boardroom battles threatens to crack. Emily is pointing directly at me now, her voice carrying across the space. "She crashed my wedding. She's always been jealous of my success." The words hit like physical blows, but it's the sight of the man now standing beside Emily that freezes the blood in my veins. Dr. Michael Hayes, chief of surgery at Hayes Memorial Hospital. The same man who rejected my company's meal service proposal just 3 months ago. That's impossible. I whisper, my fingers digging into Nathan's arm. Emily is marrying Michael Hayes? Nathan's eyes narrow. Wait, Hayes from the North Side proposal? I nod, watching as Emily threads her arm through Michael's, leaning into him possessively. A colleague approaches, congratulating Dr. Bennett on her marriage. The lie hits me like a slap. Emily never finished medical school, never even started. Yet here she stands, having constructed an entire false identity, one that apparently includes a prestigious medical career. Mom! Leo tugs at my dress, his 6-year-old face scrunched with concern. Why are those men coming? Before I can answer, security reaches us, followed closely by Emily, Michael, and my mother. We're herded into the corridor outside the ballroom, away from curious eyes but still very much on display. Emily towers in her wedding heels, while I instinctively pull Leo close to my side. She abandoned our family after failing high school, Emily announces, her voice echoing against the marble floors. She couldn't handle that I was the successful one. My mother steps forward, her purple dress tight across her shoulders as she nods vigorously. She was always unstable, couldn't handle that her sister was the successful one. The rehearsed quality of their performance is sickening. Michael looks confused, glancing between me and my father, who hovers nervously behind my mother, his eyes fixed on the floor. You need to leave, Emily demands, her voice rising with each word. Before you ruin everything like you always do. The scene is drawing attention. Hotel guests pause as they pass, taking in the spectacle of a bride confronting an unwanted guest. The professional reputation I've spent a decade building could unravel in minutes. Mrs. Carter? Michael says, recognition dawning in his eyes. We've met before, haven't we? At the hospital contract meeting last quarter. Emily's head whips toward him, panic flashing across her face. Leo presses himself against my leg, his small body trembling slightly. Mom? He whispers, fingers clutching the silk of my dress. I'll call the police if I have to, Emily threatens, her voice dropping to a hiss. Everyone knows you have mental issues. I take a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment, 10 years of silence versus this very public confrontation. My son's frightened face versus the opportunity to finally expose the truth. My mother steps closer, her perfume cloying as she invades my space. You always were an embarrassment, she whispers, her smile never faltering for the benefit of onlookers. Don't make a scene. The familiar words trigger the familiar response, a flush of shame, the impulse to apologize, to retreat. But then Nathan clears his throat. I don't believe we've been properly introduced, he says, his voice calm and measured. I'm Dr. Nathan Carter, future director of Carter Memorial Hospital. Michael's eyes widen in recognition of the name, one of the largest private healthcare networks in the Midwest. As security started to back away, I wondered if I should simply walk away from this confrontation and protect my family from further drama, or if after 10 years of silence, I owed myself the chance to finally set the record straight. Walking away meant peace now, but letting lies stand. Speaking up meant temporary discomfort, but perhaps final closure. What would you do when faced with the choice between comfortable silence or difficult truth? After the security backed out, I stand in the center of the reception hall as Emily's accusations hang in the air. My sister's voice, shrill with manufactured outrage, cuts through the ambient chatter. She's trying to sabotage my wedding out of jealousy. Emily proclaims hysterically, and she repeats the same accusations over and over, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. Her mascara remains perfectly intact despite her performance of distress. She always resented my success. Guests turn to stare, cocktails paused halfway to lips, whispers erupting behind raised hands. The room feels suddenly smaller, oxygen thinning as dozens of eyes swing between us like spectators at a tennis match. Mom rushes to Emily's side, arm sliding around her waist with practiced maternal concern. It's okay, sweetheart, she coos, voice pitched to Carrie. She's always been difficult. The knot in my stomach tightens. I've spent 10 years building a life where no one looks at me with pity or contempt. Now I'm 17 again, shrinking under their gaze. Emily's new father-in-law approaches, his tuxedo immaculate, expression thunderous. What exactly is happening to my son's special day? His voice carries the authority of someone accustomed to immediate answers. Emily collapses against Mom, shoulders heaving. "My troubled sister," she sobs. "She never even finished school. She's here to embarrass me." The words strike like physical blows. What they don't know could fill volumes. They don't know about the diner job where I worked double shifts, serving pancakes at dawn and burgers until midnight, rushing to community college classes between, my textbooks stashed beneath the counter. They don't know about the night I recorded Dad's tirade when I asked him to sign my financial aid forms. "Waste of good paper," he'd sneered. "You'll just drop out anyway." The recording became evidence when I petitioned for independent status, the financial aid officer's face growing grimmer with each replayed insult. They don't know about 4 years in that basement apartment where water stains spread across the ceiling like disease, where I kept my textbooks in plastic bins to protect them, where I studied by flashlight when the electricity was shut off. They don't know about the threatening calls, Mom's voice slurring slightly as she demanded I contribute more to family expenses while I ate ramen for the 3rd night straight, saving every possible dollar. They certainly don't know about the business plan I drafted between midnight hospital cafeteria shifts, watching how much food went to waste, calculating how a better system could save money and improve patient satisfaction. "Mom?" The small voice breaks through my thoughts. Leo tugs at my emerald dress, his round face tilted up with innocent concern. "Are these the mean people from your stories?" The question catches me off guard. Nathan's quiet chuckle beside me releases something tight in my chest. Leo's unexpected question reminds me of what actually matters now. Emily hears him. Her eyes narrow as she steps forward, wedding dress swishing dramatically around her ankles. We stand in the center of the reception area now, wedding guests forming a loose circle around us. Some look uncomfortable, others lean forward with undisguised interest. "You always wanted what I had." Emily snaps, her voice thick with contempt. "You couldn't stand that I was the smart one." I feel strangely calm now, anchored by Leo's small hand in mine, Nathan's steady presence beside me. "Is that what you told Michael?" I ask, my voice even. "That you graduated from Westlake Women's College with honors?" Michael steps forward, confusion clouding his features. "What is she talking about?" he asks Emily, whose face has gone rigid. "I have copies of my college transcripts in my car," I say, my voice steady and clear. "Do you have yours, Emily?" Something shifts inside me as I speak the words. A realization, simple but profound. I no longer need their approval. Their opinion of me matters less than the dirt beneath my shoes. The freedom of this truth straightens my spine. Nathan stands firmly beside me, one hand protectively on Leo's shoulder. From across the room I notice movement, Nathan's parents approaching with purposeful strides. They position themselves behind us, a wall of quiet support. Nathan's father reaches forward, squeezing my shoulder gently. The gesture speaks volumes, especially as my own father remains frozen several feet away, his face unreadable. I stand taller, confidence flowing through me like a transfusion. "Michael," I address him directly, "I believe we've met before, though under different circumstances." I reach for my clutch, fingers steady as I extract a business card. The raised lettering catches the light. Brooke Carter, CEO, Midwest Health Solutions. Michael's eyes widen in recognition. "Carter? From the hospital suppliers meeting last month?" Emily lunges forward as Michael pulls out his phone, presumably to search my name. Her desperate movement knocks a tray of champagne glasses from a passing server's hands. They crash to the floor with a spectacular sound, glass shards scattering across the polished wood like diamonds. In the frozen moment that follows, as everyone stares at the glittering mess, I realize I've been holding my breath for 10 years. Finally, I exhale. I face Michael directly, shoulders squared, as the wedding reception buzzes around us like disturbed hornets. The crystal chandelier above catches light in fractured patterns across his increasingly troubled face. "Your fiancé never finished high school, let alone medical school." My voice remains steady, each word precise as a surgical cut. Emily Bennett has fabricated her entire academic history. Nathan stands beside me, his presence a fortress. I can sense Leo safely tucked behind his grandmother's protective embrace across the room. "That's absurd," Michael stammers, but uncertainty clouds his eyes. I methodically present the facts, ticking them off with calm deliberation. She claimed to graduate from Westlake Women's College with honors in pre-med, then Fairview Medical School. Both institutions have confirmed they have no record of her attendance. Her hospital administration experience is entirely fabricated. The wedding guests fall silent, their collective breath held as my words hang in the air. Michael's father steps forward, his distinguished gray head tilting in concerned attention. The Hayes Memorial Hospital interview last spring? She used your father's connection to secure it. I maintain unwavering eye contact with Michael. She presented credentials she doesn't possess. Michael's jaw tightens. Emily, is this true? My sister's face contorts with rage. She's lying. Brooke has always been jealous of my perfect life. Her voice pitches higher with each word. She couldn't stand that I was the successful daughter. Linda rushes to Emily's side, her purple dress swishing dramatically as she inserts herself between Emily and Michael. Brooke always had mental problems. She makes up stories when she doesn't get what she wants. The desperate deflection hangs limply in the air. Michael turns to Emily, his voice unnervingly calm. What was your thesis topic at Fairview? Emily blinks rapidly. What? Your medical school thesis. What was the focus of your research? That's not important right now. What matters is she's trying to ruin our wedding day. Emily points at me, her finger trembling. And which attending physician supervised your residency rotations? Michael continues, his voice hardening. Emily's face drains of color. She lunges for Michael's phone as he begins typing something. The device flies from his hand and smashes against the wall with a sickening crack. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Emily stands frozen, mascara-streaked face, a portrait of panic as she realizes what she's done. As the truth unravels Emily's carefully constructed lies, I find myself at a crossroads. Should I continue exposing everything? Or is there a point where justice becomes vengeance? What's the line between clearing your name and causing unnecessary pain? Nathan steps away momentarily, approaching Michael's father with quiet dignity. I catch fragments of their conversation. Previous business meeting. Midwest Health Solutions. Actual credentials. The older man's expression shifts from skepticism to growing comprehension. Across the room, Nathan's mother gently guides Leo toward a small alcove with cookies and punch, distracting him from the unfolding drama with warm grandmother magic. My heart swells with gratitude for this family that chose me when my own did not. Michael's father turns toward Emily, voice cutting through the murmurs. You told me you managed 3 departments at Lakeside General. Their HR director is my golf partner. Wedding guests begin dispersing in hushed clumps, shock rippling through conversations like wind through tall grass. The security guards who had earlier positioned themselves threateningly near me now stand protectively at a respectful distance, their assessment of the situation clearly reversed. Emily's carefully applied makeup streaks down her cheeks in dark rivulets as she frantically searches the crowd for her parents. Her wedding dress suddenly seems too large, swallowing her diminished presence. Linda's shoulders slump. Her earlier confidence collapsed like a punctured balloon. She tugs at her husband's sleeve, whispering urgently as reality closes in around them. My father finally steps forward from where he'd been hovering in the background. I barely recognize him smaller somehow, gray hair thinned, lines etched deeply around his mouth. He opens his lips to speak but produces no sound, uncertainty replacing his once constant judgment. Michael's father places a firm hand on his son's shoulder. We need to discuss this situation privately. His authoritative tone brooks no argument as he leads Michael away from the disintegrating celebration. I remain standing tall amid the wreckage of Emily's fabricated life, feeling neither triumph nor regret, only the clean, clear certainty of truth finally spoken aloud. I watch my father approach once again, his shoulders hunched in a way I've never seen before. The confident man who once dismissed my dreams now inches toward me with trembling hands. Linda hovers behind him, her smile strained at the edges, while Emily's eyes dart frantically between us. Brooke, he begins, his voice softened to a conciliatory tone I barely recognize. Surely we can resolve this as a family. Family. The word hangs between us like a bad check, worthless on delivery. It's been 10 years. He continues, spreading his hands. We should put the past behind us and start fresh. After all, family is family. Linda steps forward, nodding eagerly. We always knew you'd succeed eventually, despite your early struggles. Early struggles. As if my achievements existed because of their treatment, not in spite of it. My father glances around the room before leaning closer, lowering his voice to nearly a whisper. Our clinic is facing some financial difficulties. Perhaps you could help family in need. The audacity strikes me like a physical blow. After a decade of silence, they want money. I feel Nathan's hand press reassuringly against the small of my back. My company supplies over 60 healthcare facilities across the Midwest. I say, my voice steady and clear. We've grown 20% annually for the past 3 years. Nathan nods, his expression calm but unyielding. The business journal named Brooke Healthcare Entrepreneur of the Year last month. They did a 6-page feature on her innovative approach to hospital nutrition systems. My father's eyes widened slightly, a flicker of calculation replacing his feigned warmth. I succeeded because you forced me to be completely self-reliant. I tell him, feeling an unexpected lightness in my chest. Your rejection was the best thing that ever happened to me. Nathan glances toward the door. Carter Memorial just acquired 3 new facilities last quarter. Our expansion into rural healthcare is moving faster than projected. My father's expression shifts as he processes this information. Not just a successful daughter, but a healthcare empire bearing another family's name. The crowd parts as Michael returns, his face set in hard lines. His wedding ring is conspicuously absent from his left hand. The wedding is off, he announces flatly, not looking at Emily. I meet my sister's gaze. Your rejection was the foundation of my success. I should thank you. The wedding guests have gathered at the edges of the room, watching our family drama unfold like an unexpected final act. I reach into my clutch and withdraw one of my business cards, holding it out to Emily. When you actually finish school, call me, I say. I might have an entry-level position. Emily's face contorts with rage. She lunges forward, hand raised to slap me, but Nathan catches her wrist midair with gentle firmness. The gasps from onlookers ripple through the room. Brooke has always supported Emily's education. Linda begins fabricating a new narrative on the spot. We were so proud when she offered to help with tuition. That's not true, Michael interrupts. Emily told me Brooke refused to help her family despite her success. An older gentleman in an expensive suit approaches, his gaze evaluating me with new interest. Miss Carter? I'm Robert Hayes, Michael's father and chairman of Hayes Memorial. I believe we should discuss some potential partnership opportunities. Emily's composure shatters completely. She's lying about everything. She's always been jealous of me. She's trying to steal my life. 2 security guards appear at Robert's subtle gesture, gently but firmly escorting my screaming sister toward the exit. Linda hurries after them, casting desperate glances back at my father. I turn to the man who once deemed me worthless. His face has aged dramatically in 10 years, deep lines carving paths from nose to mouth. For the first time in my life, I see fear in his eyes as he looks at me. I'm not the daughter you threw away anymore. I tell him, my voice quiet but carrying in the hushed room. I'm the success you'll never claim credit for. He opens his mouth, then closes it without speaking. After a moment, he simply turns and walks away, shoulders slumped in defeat. As the night winds down, whispers spread through the remaining guests. I overhear fragments about Emily's deception potentially extending beyond education to financial fraud at my parents' clinic. The pieces begin falling into place, their sudden financial difficulties, their desperate approach. What happens to their clinic now? Nathan asks as we collect our coats. With their reputation damaged like this? I don't have an answer yet, and perhaps that's okay. Some decisions don't need to be rushed. On our drive home, we stop for ice cream, a family tradition after any significant event, good or bad. Leo sits in the back seat, chocolate smeared across his chin as he considers something deeply. Mom? He finally asks. Are those sad ladies still our family? I look at my son thoughtfully, weighing how to answer a question I'm still figuring out myself. The freedom to choose my response feels like its own kind of victory. 3 months later, I stand at the head of the conference table, watching 12 hospital administrators lean forward as I outline our expansion plans. The PowerPoint slide behind me shows rural healthcare facilities across 3 states. With our nutritional program implemented in these underserved areas, patient recovery times have decreased by 17%. I explain, my voice carrying confidently across the room. No stuttering, no second-guessing, just facts and vision. A far cry from the girl whose ideas were once dismissed before she could even finish a sentence. Miss Carter, how quickly could you implement this in Harrison County? Asks Dr. Wilkinson, the silver-haired director of regional services. I notice several heads nodding, eager for my response. 10 years ago, my father claimed I'd never amount to anything. Now, healthcare leaders seek my solutions, my expertise, my vision. We could begin implementation next month, I answer. My team is ready. After the meeting, I walk Tanya, one of our new management trainees, to the elevator. She came to us from a background not unlike my own talent, obscured by circumstance, potential nearly smothered by lack of opportunity. You held that room like you owned it, she says, adjusting her portfolio. I smile, remembering my own awkward early presentations. That comes with time and practice. You'll get there. Back in my office, I pause before the wall of framed achievements. My MBA diploma hangs beside my first business license. Photos of Nathan and Leo surround them. Leo's kindergarten graduation, Nathan's hospital appointment, our family vacation to the Grand Canyon. Evidence of everything I've built from nothing. The following Thursday, I stand before a gathered crowd at the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the newly renamed Carter Memorial Hospital. The spring sun warms my face as I approach the podium. Healthcare isn't just about treating illness. I begin, looking out at the sea of faces. It's about building bridges that connect people to better futures. 10 years ago, I would have been terrified to speak to such a crowd. Now, my voice remains steady as I continue. The hardships I faced becoming a first-generation college graduate weren't obstacles. They were the foundation that taught me how to build something lasting. That's what we're celebrating today, not just a building, but a vision of what's possible when we refuse to accept the limitations others place on us. I catch the eye of Dr. Harrington, who once dismissed my catering proposal as unrealistic. Today, he applauds with the others. I nod slightly, acknowledging him without resentment. That rejection led me to expand in directions I might never have considered otherwise. That evening, we celebrate with a small dinner at La Maison, just the 5 of us, Nathan, Leo, and Nathan's parents, Robert and Susan. The intimate setting feels right after the public ceremony. Robert raises his glass. To Brooke, who showed us all the strength that comes from being underestimated. Leo, munching on a dinner roll, pipes up. Grandpa, did you know my mom's company helps make sick people better? She gives them special food so they can go home faster. Susan smiles warmly. We certainly do know that, sweetheart. Your mother helps a lot of people. Nathan squeezes my hand under the table, his touch a silent affirmation of everything we've built together. The following Monday, a letter arrives on my desk. The return address stops my breath for a moment. Bennett Family Medical Clinic. With steady hands, I open it to find 2 items, a formal partnership request from my parents' struggling practice, and beneath it, an application for an entry-level nutritional coordinator position. The applicant's name, Emily Bennett, with newly earned community college credits in healthcare administration. I trace my finger over the signature at the bottom of the letter. My father's handwriting, once so intimidating, now seems smaller somehow, less powerful. I place both documents in my desk drawer, rather than the trash can, neither accepting nor rejecting them yet. As I held that letter from the family that once deemed me worthless, I wondered if true strength comes from extending forgiveness or maintaining boundaries. Is healing possible with those who broke you? Or is it wiser to acknowledge that some bridges should remain uncrossed? What would you do when those who once rejected you suddenly need what you've built without them?